In the early days of the Clone Wars, Republic naval forces came head-to-head with the Malevolence, a massive Separatist Subjugator-Class Battleship. Today we'll take a look at the Subjugator-Class Battleship, its design, and a little bit of its history. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. So the Malevolence is part of a larger class of vessels, the Subjugator-Class Battleships. While the Separatists do technically classify them as heavy cruisers, I will be referring to them as battleships because they are way larger than anything anyone should call a heavy cruiser. Designed by the Freedak Volunteers Engineering Corps, which by the way is the same design company that designed the Providence-class Dreadnought, although that is more appropriately called a heavy cruiser, the Subjugator-class vessels were 4,800 meters long. This made them significantly longer than anything else deployed during the Clone Wars. And while we don't really see them involved in any Separatist fleet actions, I'm sure if they were involved with a larger Separatist fleet, they would surely serve as the command ship. All of this works well with its rather impressive weapons complement. The only one we see on screen is the Malevolence, although we do know that there were several others in this class, and it does appear like each one did have a unique layout of weapons. However, we really only have reliable stats for the Malevolence, so here we go. The Malevolence had a ludicrous 500 heavy turbo laser turrets, 400 light laser point defense cannons, 10 heavy proton torpedo launchers capable of launching heavy proton torpedoes, and 5 tractor beams. And on top of all of that, it had its primary weapon, a pair of massive ion cannons. These ion cannons could generate a pulse that could basically neutralize an entire fleet. The ion cannon alone made this vessel incredibly deadly. It was basically able to render enemy fleets completely vulnerable and then destroy them with its massive number of turbo lasers. And we see that the Separatists are more than willing to utilize these vessels in that fashion. During the hunt for the Malevolence, an entire Republic fleet is wiped out in one quick swoop, with the 3 Venators involved being disabled by the ion cannons and then torn apart by the turbo lasers. But the weapons complement isn't the only thing the Subjugator has going for it. It could carry 144 Vulture droids and 48 Hyena bombers, along with an unknown number of landing craft, boarding shuttles, and other utility vessels. This made it more than capable of defending itself against not just Republic vessels, but Republic starfighters. A ship of this size does need a significant crew, and the Subjugator was crewed by over 23,000 command battle droids and Nemoidians. On top of that, it could carry a significant ground force, 60,000 deployable battle droids. Now, due to the sheer size of this vessel, there had to be a rather unique system for getting around within it. The Malevolence actually had an intricate rail network within the vessel, and this allowed crew and equipment to be moved easily and simply from one point to another within the ship. Now, while we do know in canon that they did have several vessels within this class, we only really know the details on the story of one of them, and obviously that is the Malevolence. The Malevolence was one of the first ships in the class to be deployed by the CIS, and it was also one of the first to be destroyed by the Republic. After carrying out an assault on a Republic fleet which was hunting down a new Separatist superweapon, the Malevolence quickly found itself the subject of a massive galaxy-wide ship hunt. Republic forces all over were trying to hunt down the Malevolence before it could carry out another devastating attack. It was eventually cornered while trying to carry out an assault on a Republic medical facility near Naboo, and Republic bombers were able to disable the 2 ion cannons and seriously damage the vessel, at which point several Jedi were able to sneak on board the vessel and sabotage its hyperdrive. With the hyperdrive sabotaged, when they attempted to activate it, it jumped into a nearby moon, destroying the vessel. With the amount of resources and manpower poured into a single Subjugator-class vessel, the destruction of one was a significant blow to the Separatist Navy. And for the remainder of the war, the remaining vessels within the Subjugator class would not see nearly as much action as they had originally planned, most of them being kept in port to protect them from Republic attack. That being said, we do know at least 2 of them were destroyed in port by attacking Republic forces, who were likely hunting down and attempting to destroy the remaining vessels within the class. We do know that the Separatists did still utilize the Subjugators occasionally, however they would spend most of their time waiting in port, being held in reserve until they were absolutely necessary. Now, unlike some Separatist vessels, this class doesn't have much history after the end of the Clone Wars, however it does inspire several vessels later on. We know a lot of the designs present in the Subjugator-class heavy cruiser were also added into other vessels. Things like the Executor-class Dreadnought, for example, borrowed some systems from the Subjugator class. And we even see some design philosophies which were pioneered in the Subjugator class still in use by the First Order when they designed the Resurgent-class battlecruiser. And while they didn't play a major role in many battles, and obviously, as I mentioned, weren't present in most Separatist fleets, they still were some of the most feared and deadly vessels within the Separatist Navy. And a lot of the design features that were present on the Subjugator-class vessels were taken from previously designed Separatist vessels or would be included in later designed ones. For example, they bear a lot of design similarities to the Providence-class heavy cruiser, which served the Separatist Alliance all the way from the early days during the Battle of Christophsis to the Battle of Coruscant. If you want to learn more about the Providence-class heavy cruiser, which basically was a smaller Subjugator-class dreadnought, I'll leave a link up here to my video on that. And I want you to let me know down in the comments what you think of the Subjugator-class heavy cruiser's ion cannon. After all, it proved remarkably useful in destroying Republic fleets, however, it would also prove to be the vessel's Achilles heel. And last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.